Hi guys, good morning. Welcome to these series of lectures on the interpretation of financial accounts. What we're going to do is, of course, this is support the lectures that we do in class, and really it's to give you a chance to spend time on your own and to get to grasps or get a good grasp of what we're talking about here. So we've already started talking about this, but we're going to sort of take it again from the top. So we're talking about the interpretation of final accounts. What are the aims? So our aims are to introduce a number of financial ratios that can be used to interpret a set of financial statements. I've said watch the videos before class, but see what you can do. That's always helpful. You can watch them whenever. So these are the ratios that we're going to end up looking at. And by the end of all the videos, you should be comfortable with the gross profit margin, the net profit margin, the return on capital employed. Those are referred to as profitability ratios. So those first three ratios look at profitability. The next two ratios, the current ratio and the asset test ratio, look at liquidity. And then the last four, if you like, almost look at a certain level of efficiency and productivity. But we'll see all this as we go along in the series. I'm going to try and make the videos short so that they're quite punchy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look very quickly at just the basic idea of why we look at ratios, and then I'll end that video and move on to a next video looking at the gross profit margin. And I think that's how we're going to do this. Okay, so let's look at these two businesses here first of all. So we have a business A has just made an annual net profit of 100,000, and business B has made an annual net profit of 150,000. So if this was all the information you had just to hand, you would say, well, of course, business B has made an annual net profit. But in order to really know who's done better, so business B might have had more, but this could be, we could be comparing the two very, very different businesses. So in order to know who's actually made more, given the resources available to them, because that's really the definition of be better, if you like, as opposed to just a numerical amount, we need to sort of look at the income statement. We need the income statement, and we also need, if you like, how much money was actually invested in this business. So if what I do is, let me sort of see if I can make this bigger. So what we have here, if you like, is we have business A and B, and we can see here that business A has a net profit of 100,000 and business B has a net profit of 150,000. And just by looking at the numbers, you probably would want to say that B has done better than A. But let's see what's really happening here. There are a couple of things. First of all, let's actually focus a little. Well, let's come down here. So what actually happened was you gave £2,000 to Mr. A, or business A. You said, take £2,000, go back, and how much can you bring me back? And they bring you back £100. That's the net profit. So you invested £2,000, and that's what we mean by capital employed. Money invested into the business. You invested £2,000, they came back with 100. You gave £10,000 to Mr. B, and he comes back with 150. So straight away you can sort of see that when you're looking at who's actually done better, you probably want to sort of consider the fact that Mr. B has had quite a bit of money, and all he's brought back is 150. Almost like the idea of the talents. If you like, you've given someone quite a lot of talent, and this is what they bring back, and someone hasn't had so much talent. So the argument is, well, if I probably gave Mr. A the same amount of money I'd given Mr. B, he probably would bring me much more. And so that's the thinking behind why we do these ratios. So that's the first thing. The second thing, again, we also see is that here, Mr. A had sold £1,000 worth of items. So he had received £1,000 and he had kept £100. When I say kept 100, out of the £1,000 he received, he had to give off 350 and 550 to pay off things, and he had £100 left for himself. As opposed to Mr. B, who received 2,000 and kept 150 of that 2,000 that he received. So, really, if you like, this is an introduction to why ratio analysis is even done. Because before we can sort of assert that Mr. A or Mr. B has done better than whoever or whatever, we need to sort of consider what resources they were given and how much they have kept from their revenue. Okay, great. So this is just the introduction. In the next video, I will move on to start actually looking at the ratios. So we'll tie up that video there. Great stuff. See you in the next video.